and is a 2020-2021 PPAC Artist in Residence. Welcome, Naomieh.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's right.
Yes, it feels like graduation. Yes. Thanks, Lori.
Pleasure.
So what happens next? Do I start or
You can start you can say hi. It's up to you.
hi everybody? I'm nervous. But this is how you spell my name. I'm Naomieh. My friends call me Naomi. Sometimes my family call me Nana. Depends. I have so many different names, but all are okay. Um, so I'm gonna like show you and talk about okay, show you new and old work. They're not necessarily linear. Um, they're kind of like all over the place, but hopefully at the end you'll get like an idea. And then I'm also going to talk about like my inspiration about my current photo project, which is Gwo Fanm. And that's what I worked on at the PPAC residency. And then I'm also going to show you some new work that I made while at the residency. It was an awesome experience, very inspiring, and made me realize that I need a studio and a big giant printer. Soon come, soon come. Okay. But before we get started, let me show you this really cute picture of me in 3rd grade. Okay, look how cute I am. Anyways, okay, that's it. Last one. Friends, please don't screenshot this. Okay, all right, back to seriousness. So at the center of my work, is the quest for understanding family trauma, inheritance, and transformation. I seek out. Can you hear me? Are my hoops banging on my headphones?
No, it's no problem at all. You're clear.
Okay, cool. Okay, let me start over.
Wait just a second. I'm going to turn on the recorder and it's going to make some weird noise. 1 second. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. At the center of my work is the quest for understanding family trauma, inheritance, and transformation. I seek out pathways in my artistic practice for unlearning, storytelling, and transference of power and trauma within family. These practices allow me to expand my family's narrative beyond single perspectives, from gatekeepers of information within my family to xenophobic narratives of Haitian people. How does photographing my friends as they interact and perform in the nude help to develop a trusting and healing relationship with the body? How is that experience transformative in giving me agency and power? This process allows me to perform a safety net that I would like to experience more often in intimate dynamics. I consider healing as a personal, social, and spiritual process in the face of the negativity attributed to the African diaspora, and in my case, in my familial land of Haiti. I began my work as an artist in order to reimagine and understand the body as a form outside of shame. And when people experience trauma, they form a different relationship with their own bodies. They no longer perceive their bodies as functional spaces. Instead, these experiences reshape the perspectives of the body, rendering it as useless. And the body to them is seen as something shameful, powerless, something that needs to be hidden or concealed. And through my photographic series, The Body Project, I attempt to heal the body from traumas related to sexual violence and negative racialized perceptions. The photographs in these series and this series parallel how the Haitian body moves through grief, exaltation, and ritualistic dance. And one of the most evident images of this connection is Rejoice, which is up on the screen now. In the image, two figures are caught in movement, facing and stretching toward one another. I see a relationship with these improvised movements and those I've witnessed my grandmother perform in voodoo rituals and my aunts at my parents' funerals. In this image, I see how one experiences grief with their body in reaction to death. I also see when the body is energized by the spirit in religious spaces. It's important for me to understand the role of the spirit in my family's daily lives. And this work becomes like a ritual in of itself, exploring Haitian culture with the ultimate goal of healing. And these next few works are some images from that project. Some you probably have seen because PPAC always shares my pictures. Questions I keep coming back to are, who am I in relationship to others culturally as a Black woman, Haitian-American woman, and spiritual being? And my mother is that point of reference. I believe my work to be in conversation with the history of representation of the body in painting and photography. I think of artists like Dina Lawson, Carrie James Marshall, and Carrie Mae Weems, and Latoya Ruby Frazier. Here's a photo of Carrie Mae Weems and a photo of my mother, my brother, and myself, and my sister, but she's cut off in the corner. Here's a painting from Carrie James Marshall. And an image of my uncle when he used to own a barbershop in Haiti. And it just really like kind of blew my mind. And I think this was around the 90s and this painting was created in the 90s and stuff like that, in totally two different places. Yeah, I just thought that was cool. And my uncle's the guy that's shaving the dude's hair. Dina Lawson's kitchen table series.
Carrie Mae Weems' kitchen table series.
I mean, sorry, Carrie Mae Weems. Oh my gosh. And this is being recorded. She gonna kill me. And then found an image in my mother's photo album. A kitchen. Can't see the table, but this is a kitchen. Latoya Ruby Frazier, Grandma and Me. My grandmother and my sister.
Lovely.
My mother on the left and her sister on the right. Let me go back to this one because it's my favorite. Okay. And I just like, I'm trying not to go off on a tangent, but the image on the right is of my sister, and it was taken in the house that I am in currently. And in that house, there was like a fire. So that's why you see like the discoloration and like the damage to the photo. And just like, it makes me think about my parents, I don't know, like being immigrants and coming to America and facing so many challenges, and this house is still standing even beyond their physical like bodies. Um, yeah, it's personal. Um, my mother on the left in that same house, and my aunt in Haiti. Uh, yeah. Anyways, I believe they contextualize that family photographs are important to the core representation of the Black family and show us how foundational the family album is. And this is, I remember this day. This is, I think everybody, I have 6 siblings, and I think everybody in my house had a graduation, including my father. So we were like spread thin, but I think we all at the end met up at Sears and took a picture together. And yeah, and this is the time that my mom had breast cancer, but I didn't realize in that moment, but now I do because she's wearing the wig that the hospital gave her. Um, and then my dad he had graduated from community college and he had a blue graduation robe, but he actually took my sister's graduation gown and put it on and took a picture. It was so funny. Anyways, um, yeah. Okay, next slide. This is new work I made at the PPAC residency. Okay, back to regularly scheduled program. That's what people say, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, okay. Spirituality and Black identity are very important themes that are overarching and constant in my work. Like the artists in my field that I'm in conversation with, I feel that the work I create aids in the decolonization of the psyche. It raises awareness about the exclusion of Black identity unless it centers around trauma. To revisit foundational images of Black identity through the family album and to pull directly from these foundational pages and show them publicly aids in resistance. The action of centering one's identity challenges popular media's own biased representation of Black people. And since the Haitian Revolution, Haiti has been the victim of biased and exploitative media, which attempted to disempower the people. And this is my aunt. She's so pretty. She's in Haiti. Over the last few years, I have turned my creative focus to my current project, Gwo Fanm, a multi-layered project that consists of found images, original photography, audio interviews, and installations. The project began as I developed tools to investigate my origin stories with a depth that only time could help me access. And I was brought up mostly around my mother's family. Her family was big. She had 16 to 18 siblings. Those numbers don't know exactly right, but it's either 16 or 18. And my father only had 2 siblings. And so, yes, it's like my dad's family never existed. And so like every day you find like a new cousin or a new person you're related to. And it's pretty cool.
Can I ask about that last image a little bit?
Yeah.
I love this image so much. There's so many layers, and I mean, when you do the cutouts, what are you thinking when you're creating these cutouts? And are those people there? Are those people that you wish were there? Are they missing?
So sometimes when I make stuff, I don't really be thinking. I just do it. But I think after I create the image, I sit down and like ask myself why I made the decisions that I did. And I think when I made this image, I was kind of like just thinking about the loss of lineage and not lineage, like history when death happens. So in my case, my parents passed away when I was younger. So a lot of their experiences and their stories that they could have told me and questions I could have asked them are with them. And you can't really ask anybody else because they don't really know their true story and how they really feel. And then my grandmother passed away, and that made me freak out because I felt like my family's history was at stake after her death. And
Mhm.
so the absence, and then like every month or every like when I was in high school and college, it was always, oh, your aunt died, your cousin died, your this died, you know, and especially after the earthquake, you
Mhm.
just you kind of became like, numb, but like, it just I don't know how to explain it. It sucks. Um, but so it just they're just like the covered people are like the people that I've never gotten to meet, but I've heard about, and um I don't know. It's hard to explain. It's still fairly new. I made it recently.
No, thank you. I think that's really helpful. Thank you so much.
No problem. That's my grandma. Um, yeah, so like my mom's family currently consists of a majority of like women, and my mom was an immigrant woman in the United States, and she kind of like not kind of let me stop downplaying. She fronted and fought for her relatives and her cousins, her siblings to come to America, and mostly fronting the costs for them to like become citizens and stuff like that. Um, and when I hear stories about what my mom have has gone through in Haiti, in America, before children, with children, and it it like makes me feel really like I don't know, like she went through a lot. And
Mhm.
then I hear, and then through that like conversation I have with like the people that knew her and that would tell me her experience in America, they'll talk about like what they've gone through as well. And it's just I don't know, like it made me even more inspired to like make work about them. A lot of them shouldered like unimaginable burdens, and they still were able to create like this strong foundation like of community within amongst themselves. And when I think about like my mom bringing me to like all these people houses and introducing me and like, I don't know how to like describe these memories I have, but they are like very important and they're so beautiful. And it's just like nice to remember. And I'm glad I was able to like play tag, not play tag, but tag along
Mhm.
um, with her through these spaces and stuff. Speaking of space, this is my godmother's home. Um, Her house has not changed. Everything you see on that table has been there before I was born, after, and probably until my nieces grow up. Like it's cool because when it was my godmother's birthday, we brought my nieces over, and she started playing with the same toys that I was playing with, and I was like, "Yo, that's just so mind blowing!" Like to see like her play with the same stuff I used to play with and I used to get in trouble with. And my godmother used to hit me because I used to like play with the beads in the doorways. And she said, don't touch it. And she did that to my niece. And I was like, yo, this is triggering, but also cool to see like my godmother's house is like, I don't know, it's so beautiful. Um, yeah, she got popcorn ceiling. It's glitter everywhere. It's just yeah. And she take real good care of her space and stuff. Oh wait, hold on, sorry. This is an image. Let me read your comment. Thanks, Ursula. Glad you could make it. This is my aunt, Madame Lucien. I used to hear a lot about her when I was younger. And then I found this picture of her and I read the back. Well, I can't read French as well. So I asked my cousin's husband to translate, and it's a breakup letter. It's a sad, very sad letter. And it's just so crazy. And it perfectly describes how I came to understand life and the natural ways of life and death and stuff like that. And I'm actually gonna read it to you guys. Bear with me. I am very unorganized. So I'm gonna find the translation for you because it is very, very beautiful. Okay. Okay. So the back says, oops, hold on. Life is a flower and a blow. Very often, right next to joy, pleasure, and laughter, there is always tears and sorrow that brings ugliness and darkness to our existence. Because life is made of separation, I must bend myself to the laws of nature. And um, that was like, I think one of the first images that I found that had writing on the back, or not found, but realized that there were writing on the back. And then I kind of started looking for more and asking for more translation. Um, yes, a breakup poem. Yes, I think it's either she wrote that to her husband. Yeah, and this is a new image I made. This is my grandmother. I don't know who is in the casket, but I always thought it was my grandfather because I never met neither of them. And this is in Haiti. Can you see the photo wall? Is it too small? It's good. Okay. And yeah, thank you. Reading the comments. Okay. So through this project, I also have been exploring the role of voodoo within my family, within my family's history. And I kind of was introduced. I mean, it was always there, but when I look back at it, I always see my grandmother, who's like a prominent figure in practicing. And my mother, I didn't see her do it often, but sometimes I have memories of them doing it with my aunt in the basement. Or sometimes when when we moved to a new house, my grandmother would like protect the house. So she'll do a ritual for that and stuff like that. And I didn't know it was voodoo. I just thought, no, this is what we do. Anyways, so now I'm trying to understand that because after my parents died, I have family that are kind of gotten into Christianity and kind of painted a bad image of those who practice voodoo within my family. And so I understood it to be something as evil until I did my own research. And because I saw my grandma and I was told my grandma practices this evil thing, that kind of made me not want to have a relationship with my grandmother. Yeah. And so as an adult, when I did my own research, I kind of like was like, forget all that. And thank you, Nadia. Forget all of that and kind of created my own, you know, experience and wanted to like, understand it for myself and not from a biased person. And I found that I learned that like enslaved Africans in Haiti had to hide their spiritual practices behind like Catholicism, Christianity, and then you learn that I really still don't know why people. I mean, I do know it's anti-black, basically anti-black, self-hatred, anti-black. Yeah. And also Carrie James Marshall talks about how when a white person does magic, it's like cool and um fun, and you could hire them at a kid's birthday party. And then when white people refer to black people doing magic, they refer to black magic and something negative, something eerie, something evil. And I was like, yes, Carrie, yes, that's exactly what's happening. Yeah. And so, yeah. And anyways, I'll just read what this makes much more sense than me going off the top of my head. But through this project, I have also been exploring the role of voodoo within my family history. Enslaved Africans had to hide their spiritual practices behind Catholicism and Christianity and continue to be seen negatively in Western society. The role of voodoo is defined as a sacred dance with the ancestors. And we as individuals are the culmination of many others that came before us. The practice of voodoo is respecting ancestral knowledge that comes out of our trials and tribulations, acts of submission, and acts of resistance as beings. And when you learn about the Haitian Revolution, it is said to be like um, one of the Loa or spirits. Hopefully, I'm not getting this wrong because I'm very new to understanding. Her name is Erzili Danto, and she was the one that was said to inspire the Haitian Revolution for Haiti to be the first Black nation. And it's just like, that's why they don't, anyways. And back to the writing behind the photographs. Um, this is writing from my mom that I found. Like I found the image, but I didn't look at the back of it. And the image, I didn't recognize that it was her. So every time I revisit the image, it's like I find out something new. And so the first time I saw it was this picture, and I would ask my cousin, who is this person? Ask my siblings who this person was. And no one knew. And we like kind of speculated that it was my mom, but I was like, she kind of looked like my sister, but I've never seen her at this age. My sisters have never seen her at this age. Um, and then my aunt said that was my mother. And then years later, I look in the back and it says, always look at this photo. And I was like, damn, like this is like, I don't know, a sign, I guess. Like, I don't know. But I really appreciated seeing this. And when I see the words, like when I revisit the words on my mom's photo, like it you kind of like, I kind of regain that spiritual power. I feel like it inspires me to like continue what I'm doing. Um, it makes me think about, I don't know, I don't want to sound crazy, but it just makes you think like, I don't know. Thanks. Thank you. Um, but yeah, like it's very, very nice to see this stuff. Um, and that's it. Thanks.
Wonderful. Thank you. There's a lot to talk about. Congratulations on the new work, Naomieh. And I would like people to it's a small group, so we can unmute ourselves and ask questions if you have any. I like how you work with the fadedness of the pictures have gone old and they've lost their color and they've shifted colors. And I love how you continue to work in those archival pieces in the shifted colors of time passing. That's really beautiful.
Thank you, Lori.
Does anybody have any questions for Naomieh? I want to ask about the picture where I think your grandmother's off the edge of the frame, but your mother is in the center of the composition as an image. Your grandmother's on the stage. I've seen that image so many times before, but I felt it hard this time.
Which image?
This one, yeah, this one.
My godmother, sorry.
That's your godmother off to the side, but that's a photograph of your mom.
My godmother at a younger age.
Okay, your godmother at a younger age.
Yeah.
I feel like she's looking right at you. And I know she's looking at everybody, but in the context of all of the images, it's a direct conversation with you, the photographer, and with all of us. But because you were speaking to us, I just felt she's just with you in such a powerful way. And I love how she's placed in this frame. Do you have any thoughts about that?
It made me think about the photo of my mom and her younger self, and also a memory that I had after my mom died. We had moved back to this house, and my father put photos of my mom around the house, in every room, which was very nice. And it always felt like she was watching us. So like, if I wanted to curse out my brother, I would like look at the photo and rethink about being bad. Yeah, it was like my father was smart to do that and made me behave better. But yeah, it just reminds me of that and the gold frame and all of that.
I get that sense. That is a mystery about when you're young and you lose somebody close. You're constantly thinking about if they can see you. And
yes, exactly.
Yeah. Does anybody else have a question for Naomieh or comments?
Come on, people, wake up, wake up.
Oh, wait, I'm just stunned. That's all.
Oh, I appreciate that. Don't go to sleep though.
How does the body project, because that was really a deep dive into the world. How does it inform what you're doing today?
Great question. This picture actually, okay, so y'all seen this picture and y'all see the picture of my mom at the very end. So when I found my mother's photo album, I took this before finding that album, and I was like, yo, like this picture looks just like the picture of my mom. And it kind of made me think about being connected. And that kind of spiraled me into being an investigator of like my family story. I don't know.
Did you understand it? I mean, did you already see pictures with all? I mean, fabric is huge in all of the archival images too, the group, and the environments and stuff. And did you know that already, or was that something that's just part? Because that's pretty intense, right? The connection that way.
Yeah, I didn't realize like, and there's so many photos. Like I didn't know. I mean, obviously I'm Haitian, and if you're from the Caribbean, everything is like print crazy and color crazy. So, but I didn't realize, like, I don't know. I was like in it, so I couldn't really see it. And putting these two pictures together today was like, yo, that's crazy. And they're taking years apart as well.
Do you know, Nadia has a question, but I just have one more quick one. Do you know who the photographer is in these pictures?
The one on the left is my sister taking the picture of my mom. And the one on the right, I don't know who the photographer is.
Okay. So Nadia asked, how are you thinking of time in relation to the work? Something about the color cutout makes me think of past and present colliding in some way. My thoughts aren't fully formed, but I'm thinking about time.
I don't know. The color cutout in which images, like in the body project? Oh, no, no, no. Okay, wait. These, right?
Mm.
Okay. Um, it does make me think about time. Um, it makes me think about actually in some of these people in these images, I think my cousin is in the middle, my uncle is the orange, and then there's another man all the way at the right. I think both have passed away except for my cousin in the middle. Um, and that's his father on the far right. And I, looking at this photo, I just think about, yeah, I don't know how to explain how I'm thinking about time, but it makes me think about time. Um, Seeing and hearing stories about my uncle and his life, and seeing him at a funeral that's not his own. It's just, yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking about it, but I don't know how to explain it yet.
Mhm.
Hopefully that helps. Thank you for asking a question.
The other, I mean, there's so many representations of hands and work and
Mm,
things made or designed or placed by the women that you are speaking about and trying to connect with and think about and make work about. I mean, the handwriting was so beautiful of your mom's, with the D or the R's. I mean, it's it's beautiful. It's their work, their hands are represented in the pieces that you're making and in the pieces that you're developing now. And I find that really really important, um, to have that their sort of creative and thoughtful space in each of these photographs. It connects.
thank you. It's funny that you bring that up because me and my mom used to sit down together and practice writing in English.
Mhm.
Sorry, this is my flexi rod.
Mhm.
Um, and it was cool to, I don't know, I like talk about this stuff because it makes me remember.
Mhm.
And I feel like that's the one of the main reasons why I am doing this project is because it helps me remember. Um,
Why don't can you talk about how you envision this work to be presented? I mean,
mm,
how will it reach the world?
I guess the book, but I feel like it can go beyond that. And my thoughts haven't formed fully. I just know that it can't be contained in the book. Like these images are so, I don't know. Personally, I think they're very beautiful.
So I want to push you on that one. What do you mean
Okay.
it can't be contained in the book? What does that mean?
I don't know. What do you do? Make large prints? Um, what installations? I have audio recordings. Like, I don't know. There's so much stuff. And once I find like these videotapes, it's gonna be over. Okay, I'm just kidding. um,
I
but
think audio is a really good lead. I think that's a really, really good
yeah,
lead.
I have an hour-long audio of my cousin describing um the death of my parents. Um, First, how her relationship with my mother, and then um what happened when my mother died. And when you have like different people tell their versions of a story, and like I don't know, like, and I don't know if it's gonna be like a culture shock to some of you when I play it. So I don't want to be like, I don't know. Do you guys want to hear it? It's not a whole hour. I'll play a snippet.
Yeah, if you want to play it. I mean, it's really up to you if you want to play it, so we know what you're talking about.
Okay, thanks.
Destiny says yes.
Okay. Thanks. With the S's. Let me find out. So it's my cousin Martine. I'll play part 2. Let me see if I can share my sounds. Part 2 is basically how she like gets into the story of how my mother died, and that my grandmother was the one that my grandmother and my aunt was the one that killed my parents. And you know, it's deep, and sometimes it's hard to hear stuff like that, but sometimes I can just like remove myself. So can you hear anything?
No, not yet.
Sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, she was in chains and she was handcuffed.
This is her describing the dream she had about my mother. Let me play this part.
Our cousin Yolan is, I hate that. And I would go to school and she died.
Okay. Sorry.
Hey, don't cut him. And you know, like, I was like, can I just be with you, please? Just like you come for the summer. And that's why I started coming for the summers after that, because I'd rather be with my auntie. We had such a good bond, you know? And I still remember the place where she went and got her license. I don't know. But she was like, yeah, you know, like, I felt like I learned a lot from her. And I felt like, you know, like, I don't know, that was my auntie. I loved her.
Don't cry. Thank you for sharing with this with me.
I mean, I got so much to share, but it's so sad because I hate it. I hate that. I hate that she died. And I was always wondering, like, man, how did she die? I mean, we all knew she was sick. We came to the house. I mean, she had cancer, right? Breast cancer. But I was just mad Mommy was trying to be like, oh, it was Adele and Grandma and da-da-da-da-da. You know, when stuff like that happen, nobody wants to hear shit like that. You know? My mom is so inappropriate. She just do the most. You remember the funeral? Fighting and slapping and almost... This is my auntie right here. What the hell? Y'all crazy? What the hell? All y'all nuts. Poor woman can't even sleep in peace. And you know what bothers me? Because I don't know if she went to heaven or if they really got her soul.
Do you think they have her soul? Like, what would that look like?
Hell yeah, I think they got her. That's why I believe it. I'm gonna tell you why I believe it. I believe it because after Auntie died, Mommy was like, hey, Grandma and Adele did it. I was like, no fucking way. No. And she was like, yeah, it's Leo, you know? But you know my mom's a nut. But sometimes what she says are true. There's some truth to some things that she say, but I don't know the fullness because she's crazy.
She is.
But there are some truth to it. And me, I'm a person, I like to ask God for my stuff. Because I was sad, and I was like, God, I hope what my mom is not saying is true. I want to see my auntie again. And I know the only way for me to see my auntie again is if she died and went to heaven, and she's with you. So, can you tell me if she's with you? You know, when auntie died, I just had Christian, and I was pregnant with Lala. And she had seen Christian, and she hugged him and kissed him, and she said, even if I had a baby, keep going. You know, keep going. And she was, so you're not disappointed in me, auntie? No. Keep going. She knew I was gonna make it. She knew I was smart. She knew. Keep going. And baby ain't stopping nothing. But anyways, I asked God, and I didn't get an answer until like maybe a few weeks after the funeral. And I was in the apartment with the baby, and I had a dream that auntie came and talked to me because I missed her so much. It's like I wanted to see her, and I would just like ask God questions. I would want to see her. I would just be thinking about her. So it's just natural that I wanted to see her. So one night I dreamed about her. I was in my room on the bed, and she was by the window and the heater. And I'll never forget, I was 21. She was by the heater, and I woke up on the bed, and I was like, auntie, my turn, you know? And she was like, don't come close to me.
In your dream?
Yeah, she's like, don't come close. And I was like, why? She was like, I don't want you to come too close to me. It's not good. And she was in chains. She had chains on her hands. She had chains on her feet. And she looked horrible. Hold on.
That's a small snippet.
Wow.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah. Wow. So that's a lot to process
Yeah.
for you.
As a elementary school student, this is what you've been told. And then 9 months later, my father died, and my sister had a dream that he was going to die, and she wasn't somebody that believed in stuff like that either. And so I actually witnessed her like fight with him, because like she's like, no, don't leave. Like he was supposed to drop my brother off to school, and he didn't believe in that stuff either. So he didn't listen, and then he got into a car accident. And so you never know what to believe, you know. It's still confusing sometimes. Because you don't want to know, you don't want to hear that your mother is not in heaven, and that your grandmother has her spirit. Like, I don't know. And all of it is confusing, especially growing up in America, because when people ask you in middle school, how's your parents dying? Like, what do you tell them? You know?
And the thing about, I mean, I don't know where you are with it all, but I mean, to me, it sounds like you're just kind of receiving, and you're not deciding on truth and untruth. It seems like you're receiving, and then you're processing them visually, right? With all these really intense thoughts and ideas and beliefs, and your real experiences. But I don't know. Do you feel, is that accurate? That because you sound so neutral in the way you speak about like all of these kinds of things being told to you. Is that
Yeah.
accurate?
Yes, you have it. What people say, you hit it on the nail on the head. What is it?
Yeah, something like that. Because you seem to be just taking it in, and then and you're not making any decisions or deciding what's right and what's wrong, or who's right and who's wrong.
Right.
Does anybody have any questions? There's a lot going on here.
Sorry, it's so much, you guys.
You know, there's I hope you don't mind me calling you out, Ron, if you're here, but Ron's working also on his family history. And I don't know if you saw his talk. Ron Tarver gave a talk, a Thursday Night Photo Talk, but I highly recommend it because I think it's, his dad was a photographer, but I think it's connected.
Hi, Ron. Nice to meet you.
Totally calling him out.
Are you sleeping?
It's so funny. Anyway, for anybody who hasn't seen it, I highly recommend it. Ron Tarver's Thursday Night Photo Talk. Any other thoughts from folks out in there? I feel like I've been thinking a lot about this, and I've seen Naomieh present her work over a couple of years. And you've really done some amazing thinking. But I feel like you're at the beginnings in some ways of this journey.
The more I find out, the more I feel like I'm at the beginning, if that makes sense.
It
does. Yeah, it's like, oh, there's so much stuff.
It does. Even with what you have shown today and the audio, that's a universe of things to think about and work with.
Destiny says that's a whole movie. It's like a whole movie, like a trailer. Maybe the project will be a movie. I'm just kidding. Documentary?
How much more is there to do here with the photo album and with your understanding as things are here before you go to Haiti?
Can you ask your question again? I'm sorry.
It's okay. How much more work do you think you have to do here with, the archive of your mom's album and things like that, and sort of the objects that you've started to collect? How much more work needs to be done before you go to Haiti, or can you go to Haiti at any point in this process?
I think I'm done with this work here as far as when it comes to the book, and Haiti is definitely the next stop. And once I'm there and I've done work there, I feel like I can finish. But that's if I don't find out more information. Because I'm like, damn, I gotta go to Africa now. Damn, I gotta go to London now. I'm just kidding. Anyways.
It's true.
Yeah, like this is following my lineage. Yeah. So I think I'm pretty much done.
Symbolically, it's interesting that the women are reclining. And I know from previous talks you spoke about the power of the women in your family and the strength of and it's matriarchal and how they've fought for all of their descendants, right? Themselves. And it's just so interesting to see them in this repose. And that's how they want to be viewed,
Yeah. And it's funny, in the beginning of the audio that I just shared, my cousin is talking about my mom going to her cousin's house because her cousin's husband used to abuse her physically. And so my mom came with a 2x4 and beat him up. And I don't think that's false at all, because I also witnessed my mom beat my dad up after some crap, and my dad never misbehaved after that. And so when you hear stories like that, and I connected with my own memories, I was like, yo, this lady was like, she was scary, but in a good way. Like she was like a superhero or something. I don't know. And it's interesting. I don't know, like, cause all her pictures are just her looking cute, and you know, you know what I mean, like looking like a fashionista, and you don't know, she probably got like a pocket knife in that purse, you know, like like big, carrying big Scorpio energy, you know. Yeah.
Okay. I know that, I mean, we're getting close to the time and I've been hogging the floor a little bit, but I am interested in the photograph of your gran in blue and the close up. And there's another one that was, that's outside of PPAC with the oxygen. You can see the oxygen.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk a little bit about why you created this image and like a little bit more?
This was around the time that I kind of reintroduced myself to my grandmother
Mm-hmm.
after years of not speaking.
Mm-hmm.
And she had asked me if I could take her passport photos. And I was like, yeah, let me take it. And at this time, she was in Philly and she lived right next door to my godmother. And it was like so much. Like, I think I was angry. And then I was like, wait, but what if this isn't true? You know, just get to know her. And I was just like, I don't know, like, I try to like keep myself neutral, and we started talking, and like it was kind of awkward because it's been so long since I've had a conversation with her or seen her. And she ended up, I think I had asked her about like my parents' stuff, and she and my aunt actually was like there, and they both said like, why would I kill my own daughter? Why would I kill my own sister? You know, your aunt's crazy, da da da. And you can tell like they were pretty hurt to be shunned by some of the family and stuff because of their practices.
Mm.
And yeah, so this was like a result. This photo was a result of that conversation.
It's very, very, very sad photograph of your grandmother. And thank you for sharing that.
No problem. Thank
It's
you
an
for
unforgettable,
listening.
it's actually an unforgettable image. Yeah. Okay, last chance. Last chance to ask Naomieh a question.
Everybody wake up.
Just let us know that you're with us. But everybody stayed in, so they, you know,
Yeah.
I feel like people are here.
Thanks
But
for logging in and walking away. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
well, it's 8:00 and I really do want to thank you, Naomieh, for presenting your work and sharing. I learn and new things all the time, and and I'm really, you know, I'm a big fan of this work, and so I wish you the best.
Thanks, Lori. Thanks for always supporting me.
My pleasure. You deserve it.
Thanks. Oh, Destiny says she got a question. You late. Oh my gosh. Okay, what's
Okay,
the question?
Destiny, bring it.
How does it feel to be she playing? What are you gonna say? That girl, you're so annoying. You're so irking. Answer your question. It feels good to be that bitch. All right. Am I allowed to curse on YouTube? They're not gonna take the video down, are they?
No. You're good. You're good.
Okay.
They
Let's
might.
hope not.
They do
Oh,
for
damn.
weird things, but whatever. Anyway, can I just tell everybody who's going to be next week? Next week, Thursday Night Photo Talk is featuring Lindsay Buckman, also PPAC artist in residence. And so please come back next week. Thank you all. You've been beautiful, and it's been great to see you. Thank you, Naomieh. I'm going to turn off the recorder. It's going to say something. Stop.
Thanks for coming.
Oh, Dove is clapping. You getting some love there?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.